Welcome to my 7 Habits for Music Creators series. In this video, we will look at Habit 6, Synergize, and look at how well you can play in the sandbox with others. Let's get it. We create music. I'm Vaughan, and this is video number 8 in our 7 Habits of Highly Effective Music Creators series. On this channel, we discuss relative music industry topics, provide practical information and resources, and share tools to help further your music career. If any of these areas interest you, take a moment to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, of course, and turn on notifications as it helps us to rank higher and make this type of content more available to music creators just like you. Habit 6, Synergize, is the habit of mutual cooperation. In Habit 4, we discuss the attitude you need to develop for mutual benefit, as it is the foundation for effective relationships. In Habit 5, we discuss the skills you need to develop for building those effective relationships. Habit 6 is the result of what happens in Habit 4 and 5, these habits working together. This is the habit of creative cooperation. It is teamwork, open-mindedness, and the adventure of finding new solutions to old problems. But it just doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen on its own. It is a process. And through that process, people bring all their personal experience and expertise to the table. All the people that you work with, your manager, A&R, business executives, all of those, your team, your band members, is bringing those things to the table so that you are able to synergize collectively. Together, people can produce far better results than they can on an individual basis. Synergy lets us discover jointly things we are much less likely to discover on our own, by ourselves. It is the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. When people begin to interact together genuinely and they're open to each other's influence, they begin to gain new insight. And trust me, you're gonna need this as you go through your whole musical journey. You're gonna need to practice Habits 4 and 5 in order to truly achieve synergy with people that you work with on a consistent day-to-day basis. The capability of inventing new approaches is increased exponentially because we all have our own differences in experience. And it is because of this that effective relationships take place and synergy is created. Now, synergy is not the same as compromise. Let's not get it twisted. It's not the same. In a compromise, somebody is giving up something, but in a synergistic relationship, new ideas are being generated and new understanding takes place. I don't have to give up something. You don't have to give up something. We're going to create something crazy and amazing together. So in order for a synergistic relationship to form, you have to value, celebrate, and respect the fact that people are different than you. You have to build on those strengths and also to compensate for any weaknesses that exist. Valuing differences is what really drives synergy. Do you truly value the mental, emotional, and psychological differences that people have? Or do you just wish that everyone would just agree with you so that, you could just all get along? Many people mistake uniformity for unity, sameness for oneness, and it's not. Differences should be seen as strengths, not weakness. Just because I think differently than you doesn't make what you think or what you want to achieve far greater or far lesser than what I want to achieve or what I think. Mental, emotional, and psychological differences between us means that we see the world not as it is, but as we are. Recognizing our own perpetual limitations and appreciating the rich resources available through the interaction with others takes humility and reverence, because you are giving away yourself. You're putting yourself on the back seat to truly synergize with someone else. And trust me, that takes a lot of effort, humility, and energy. Covey illustrates the point that two people can disagree and both be right with an illustration similar to this one. While some see a duck, others will see a rabbit. We're both looking at the same picture, and both of us are right. We see the same black and white lines, but we interpret them differently. Covey says that unless we value the differences in our perceptions, unless we value each other and give credence to the possibility that we're both right, that life is not always a dichotomous either or, that there's always a third alternative, we will never be able to transcend the limits of that conditioning. Powerful statement. When you only see two alternatives, yours and the wrong one, you have to look for a synergistic third alternative, right? Because you can't go with yours and you can't go with the other one. Why? Because you see that as the wrong one. So you have to put yourself, your own desires and needs on the back burner for the relationship, for what you are really trying to achieve, right? That's how synergy is truly created. All right, so before we proceed any further, take a moment to subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, turn on notifications as it helps us to rank higher and make this type of content, once again, more available to other music creators like you. Seeking a third alternative means that it is not my way, it's not your way, but it's our way. We figure it out together. It is a higher way. We determine what this looks like. The third alternative introduces a breakthrough approach in resolving conflict and creative problem solving, and trust me, you are going to need to be able to do this in order to be successful in this music industry. There's always conflict. Conflict is everywhere, and you will most often experience it in your musical journey, so be prepared for it. Whether this conflict is between you and your manager, you and the members of the band, you and your spouse as you're heading out on that tour, you and your attorney, you and the record label, being able to effectively deal with conflict and implement creative solutions is important to your overall success. How does one achieve this synergistic relationship? How do you go about seeking a third alternative? Well, hey, I got you, right? So let's look at some of the things that Covey talks about, this framework for achieving the third alternative. Number one, and you gotta do this. If you don't do this, nothing else matters. Valuing differences is the foundation of synergy. It's more than just appreciating someone else's cultural heritage, ethnicity, or religion. You know, those are critically important. You know, those are differences that make us humans, but that's not all. We often have the most difficulty with people who differ from us in very fundamental ways. Like, oh, you know, you're messy, I'm organized, or you're detail oriented and I'm big picture oriented, or, you know, I'm more of a planner, you're more spontaneous. Those is where the differences really come in. When we are effective, we value this type of variety and we build on the strengths of others. Willingness is the center of the path to synergy, right? All of this, what I'm going to talk about, is how you achieve synergy, which leads you to the third alternative. So once again, willingness is the center of the path to synergy. If the process breaks down at any time, go back and check their willingness. Willingness is the person's commitment to the idea of synergy. It checks their participation and commitment level. Are they really in this? Do they really truly want to achieve a third alternative, another perspective? Clarity is the end in mind that you want to really achieve. It is all about understanding what the purpose is, the interaction is, and the circumstances for everybody involved. What are you really trying to achieve, right? Really, what do you really want to get out of this? If you are unable to clarify the end in mind, your synergistic efforts will be wasted. Seek first to understand, then to be understood is practicing all those elements of habit 5. To really take the time to listen and understand the perspectives, opinions, and ideas of others, listening empathically and suppressing your autobiographical responses are important. Next is to explore alternatives. This is where all of the ideas and perspectives come together to create a solution that is better than what you may be able to come up with on your own. It is the idea that the whole, once again, is greater than the sum of its parts. Practicing all of those elements, it helps you get to the path of synergy. That is the true path of synergy that helps you to achieve the third alternative. So here are some tips to use when you're seeking that third alternative. Number one is to focus on wins for all parties involved, right? Look for those wins for not only yourself, but others as well. Withhold criticism. This is not time to, critique and be critical of everything someone else is saying. Focus on the quantity of the ideas, not so much right now as the quality, just the quantity. How many ideas are you able to generate? Build on the ideas of others. If somebody else has a great idea, take the idea and build upon it. Encourage wild and out-of-the-box ideas, right? Don't limit to what people think. Don't say, oh, that's not a good idea because it's kind of out there. Let them say it, right? And then build upon that. Don't get trapped in the details. Don't so much go, well, how are we really going to do that? Is that really going to work? Well, have you really thought? That's not the time about it. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just take the idea, build upon it, and you'll be surprised. Some great things can come out of it. Next is write everything down. This keeps a record of everything that you discuss, and you're able to go back and kind of use that to formulate what your third alternative is going to be. And last is to stick with it. This is super tough, because we as humans, we rather just have our own way. You know what? This is too tough. I don't want to do it the way you're trying to do it. I want to do it my way, and I'm gonna go do it my way. And we give up too easily. So stick with it. Remember, you are practicing habits 4 and 5 together to achieve synergy. Synergy plays a major role in helping you work collectively within this music industry. To work collectively and effectively with music executives, your band members, your production team, your manager, and anyone else that you may interact with. This way of working helps you to explore more options for a problem instead of working alone with a limited skill set. Synergy allows you to gain new insights because of the influence of different people. So start synergizing and enhance the proficiency of discovering new techniques for your music career to achieve better results. All right, so before we move on to our next video and our last video, habit 7, sharpen the saw. Take a moment, subscribe, hit that like button, turn on the notification bell to be notified of new content. And I will see you in our final video.